Did you know that every 40 seconds, an older adult in America is hospitalized due to a stroke? Yes, you heard that right. Every time you blink, every time you check your phone, some mother, father, or grandparent is being rushed to the emergency room. Sometimes they have no warning. Sometimes they don't even realize it's happening until they can't speak or move one side of their body. And here's the truly alarming part. Many of these strokes are completely preventable. You see, it doesn't start with some dramatic sign. It doesn't begin with chest pain or fainting. It starts quietly, subtly, right at your breakfast table. That's right, your morning meal. The one you believe is setting you up for a strong day might be the very thing that's slowly damaging your arteries, thickening your blood, and increasing your risk of stroke with every passing week. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 80% of strokes are preventable, but prevention doesn't start at the hospital. It starts in the kitchen, not the kitchen. In today's video, we'll walk through 9 everyday breakfast foods that can dramatically raise your risk of stroke after 60. These are foods you've likely eaten this week. Some of them are probably in your kitchen right now. Food number 2 is found in nearly every refrigerator in America, and yet few people know how much damage it can cause. And the most dangerous food of all. Number 1 pretends to be healthy. It's marketed as a wholesome start to the day. But science tells a different story. Stick around until the end, because after revealing the 9 foods you need to limit or avoid, we'll also share 3 stroke-shielding superfoods that can help protect your brain and arteries, foods that every senior should know and enjoy regularly. And before we begin, if you care about staying healthy, strong, and sharp through your 60s, 70s, and beyond, take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Senior Fit. We're here to help you make small changes that add up to big protection, starting with what's on your plate. Now, let's begin. Starting with one of the most comforting and common breakfasts out there. Pancakes and waffles. There's something nostalgic about them. Maybe it's the golden color, the smell of syrup, or the soft, buttery bite on a weekend morning. It feels warm, safe, familiar. But if you're over 60, this sweet snack may not be as innocent as it seems. Most pancakes and waffles, especially the frozen kind, are made from refined white flour. This means they've been stripped of fiber and nutrients, leaving behind starch that your body treats almost like sugar. When you eat them, your blood sugar spikes quickly. That spike leads to a surge in insulin, your body's sugar-regulating hormone, and repeated spikes, morning after morning, week after week, create inflammation and damage the delicate lining of your blood vessels. In fact, a 2019 study published in the Journal of Stroke found that diets high in refined carbohydrates are directly linked to a higher risk of ischemic stroke, the type caused by blood clots that block oxygen from reaching your brain. But there's another hidden danger. Many frozen pancake and waffle products also contain trans fats, often labeled as partially hydrogenated oils. These artificial fats are known to lower your good HDL cholesterol, raise your bad LDL cholesterol, and inflame your arteries all at once. The result: your blood vessels become stiff and narrow, making it easier for plaques to form and block blood flow. Over time, this silent process can build up until a stroke occurs suddenly without mercy. And remember, the damage doesn't come from one breakfast. It comes from the patterns we repeat. If pancakes or waffles are on your plate weekly or worse daily, then that risk is compounding faster than you think. Store-bought muffins. They're sold as wholesome. Often they're labeled bran or blueberry with wrappers that say fiber-rich or whole grain. But take a closer look. Most store-bought muffins are loaded with white flour sugar and hydrogenated oils. A single muffin can contain more sugar than a glazed donut and more sodium than a bag of potato chips. Why does this matter? Because excess sodium is one of the leading causes of high blood pressure, and high blood pressure is the single biggest risk factor for stroke, according to the CDC. Sugar inflames the walls of your arteries, weakens them, and contributes to insulin resistance. Hydrogenated oils add even more stress by increasing oxidative damage inside the blood vessels. This trio, sugar, sodium, and bad fat, is a recipe for vascular disaster. And here's the painful irony. Many older adults eat muffins thinking they're a better choice than donuts. But inside your body, the damage is the same, sometimes even worse, because these muffins are dense in calories and poor in nutrients. For an aging body with slower healing ability, even a couple muffins a week can keep your arteries in a constant state of low-grade injury. Bacon, just the word, makes some mouths water. The aroma, the sizzle, the crunch. It's all tied to memories of weekend breakfasts and family gatherings. But as tempting as it is, bacon is a dangerous habit for aging arteries. It's high in saturated fat, which raises your LDL cholesterol, the kind that sticks to your artery walls and forms blockages over time. Even more concerning are the preservatives used in processed meats like bacon nitrates and nitrites. These compounds have been linked to oxidative stress and systemic inflammation. When arteries are inflamed, they become vulnerable, more likely to rupture, more likely to clot. In 2021, a major study published in Circulation found that regular consumption of processed meats like bacon increases the risk of stroke and cardiovascular events by up to 43%. That's nearly a coin toss. One strip of bacon occasionally won't ruin your health. But for many people, bacon is part of the routine. It's in the pan every Sunday or even daily. And when that becomes the norm, the damage quietly accumulates until one day the brain is starved of blood and a stroke changes everything. Flavored yogurts. They're smooth, sweet, fruity, and they're often advertised as healthy options, especially for digestion and heart health. But most flavored yogurts are far from healthy, especially for older adults. They're often packed with added sugars, sometimes more than a candy bar. One little cup of strawberry or vanilla yogurt can contain 20 to 25 grams of sugar, which can cause your blood glucose to spike early in the morning. That spike is followed by an inflammatory response, which slowly damages the interior lining of your arteries. Over time, those arteries become brittle, stiff, and more prone to blockages. In a 2020 meta-analysis published in Nutrients, researchers confirmed that high sugar consumption significantly increases the risk of stroke, particularly in individuals over 60. And even worse, many yogurts marketed as low-fat or healthy contain artificial sweeteners. These zero-calorie additives may seem harmless, but studies show they disrupt your gut microbiome and worsen insulin resistance. Another major contributor to stroke risk. You may think you're making a healthy choice, but if that cup of yogurt is filled with sugar or artificial chemicals, You're unknowingly feeding the very conditions that set the stage for a life-altering event. White toast with butter. It's one of the most classic breakfasts of all time. Couple the slices of white bread, lightly toasted with a layer of butter on top. Simple, familiar, easy. But for seniors, this simple pairing can be far more dangerous than it appears. White bread, like pancakes and muffins, is a refined carbohydrate. It enters your bloodstream, rapidly spiking blood sugar and causing your insulin to surge. Over time, those sugar spikes cause tiny cracks in your arteries, and that's where cholesterol and plaque start to collect. The butter, especially if it's commercial, is often loaded with saturated fats. Saturated fat contributes to higher LDL cholesterol levels, which in turn promotes plaque buildup in your blood vessels. This quiet buildup doesn't cause symptoms at first, but one day, a piece of plaque can break off, travel to your brain, and block blood flow. That's when a stroke hits sudden, devastating, and often without warning. What makes white toast with butter especially risky is that it doesn't seem unhealthy. It's not greasy, it's not sugary, it's not fast food, but it's stealthy. It builds up slowly, day after day, until your blood vessels can no longer hold back the damage. Fast food breakfast sandwiches, they're convenient, hot, satisfying, and for many people, they've become part of a rushed morning routine. You swing by a drive-thru, you pick up a breakfast sandwich, egg, sausage, cheese, all tucked inside a biscuit or croissant. It fills you up, feels warm in your hands, but inside your body, it's doing something else entirely. These fast food breakfast sandwiches are a cocktail of stroke risk factors. They're usually loaded with sodium, sometimes over 1,000 milligrams in a single sandwich. That's nearly your entire daily limit before lunch. Sodium, when consumed in excess, increases the volume of blood in your arteries. That creates pressure, high blood pressure, which stretches your artery walls until they become thin, weak, and prone to rupture. Now, add in the processed meats like sausage or bacon. These are high in saturated fat and often contain preservatives like nitrates and nitrites that cause inflammation throughout your vascular system. Top it off with a slice of artificial cheese and a refined white bun, and you've got the perfect storm. In a 2018 study published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension, researchers found that frequent fast food consumption was significantly associated with higher stroke risk, especially in adults over 60. Even if you're only grabbing one of these sandwiches once or twice a week, the long-term buildup of artery damage continues quietly in the background until one day it becomes visible in a hospital bed. Granola and granola bars, they have a health halo. You see the words, whole grain, natural energy, and think, this must be good for me. But don't be fooled. Most commercial granolas are loaded with sugar, refined oils, and sometimes more calories than a candy bar. Yes, they may contain oats and seeds, but they're often cooked with vegetable oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 is essential, in small amounts too much without enough omega-3 promotes chronic inflammation. And as we've discussed, inflammation is one of the root causes of stroke. It damages the inner walls of your arteries and makes them more prone to clot formation. Add in 20 grams of added sugar per serving, and that handful of granola becomes a metabolic bomb. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has shown that an imbalance of omega-6 to omega-3 ratios significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, including strokes. So, while granola looks healthy, if it's sweetened, crunchy, and mass-produced, It might be slowly working against your brain. Orange juice and other fruit juices. It's in nearly every fridge. That tall, bright carton of orange juice. It says 100% juice. It says vitamin C. It looks so refreshing, so clean. But after age 60, your body handles sugar differently. And store-bought fruit juice, no matter how natural, is sugar in liquid form. When fruit is juiced, its fiber is removed. That means when you drink it, all the fructose enters your bloodstream at once, causing a rapid blood sugar spike. Your liver processes that fructose by turning much of it into triglycerides, a type of fat that builds up in your blood. And high triglycerides are strongly linked to atherosclerosis, the hardening and narrowing of arteries that leads directly to stroke, even if your juice is labeled no added sugar. A single glass can contain over 20 grams of natural sugar. That's as much as a soda. A 2019 study in the British Medical Journal found that higher intake of fruit juice is associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease, including stroke, especially in older adults. You think you're hydrating. You think you're nourishing. But instead, you may be priming your blood for clot formation every time you pour that glass. Cereal. It's fast. It's easy. It feels like a clean way to start the day. But most cereals, even those marketed as healthy, fortified, or whole grain, are actually ultra-processed, filled with sugars, refined carbohydrates, and often hidden sodium. You pour a bowl, add milk, and what you're really doing is flooding your body with simple carbs that break down instantly into sugar. This sugar spike triggers insulin, then inflammation, then over time, damage to your arterial walls. And because cereals rarely keep you full, they lead to overeating later in the day, which contributes to weight gain and blood pressure issues, both risk factors for stroke. In 2022, a study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that high consumption of ultra-processed foods increases the risk of stroke by over 30%. So even if it comes in a bright box and says heart healthy, if it tastes sweet, crunches like candy, and doesn't keep you full, it might be setting you up for long-term harm. Now the good news. Good news. You've just learned about 9 breakfast foods that increase stroke risk. But that's only half the story. Because now we're going to share 3 stroke-shielding superfoods. Foods that research shows can protect your brain, your arteries, and your future. These aren't exotic or hard to find. In fact, you can start enjoying them tomorrow morning. Blueberries. These small dark berries are packed with anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that reduce inflammation, improve blood vessel function, and protect the delicate lining inside your arteries. A 2013 study in the Journal of Circulation found that people who regularly consumed anthocyanin-rich foods, like blueberries, had a 32% lower risk of heart attacks and strokes. They also contain fiber, are low in natural sugar, and can be added to yogurt oatmeal or eaten by the handful, fresh or frozen. They don't spike your blood sugar, and they help keep your arteries flexible and clear. Avocados. Creamy, rich, and incredibly heart-friendly avocados are loaded with monounsaturated fats, the kind that lowers LDL bad cholesterol and raises HDL good cholesterol. They also provide potassium, which helps your body balance sodium and maintain healthy blood pressure. One of the most important factors for stroke prevention. A 2015 meta-analysis published in the BMJ showed that higher potassium intake is associated with a significantly reduced risk of stroke, especially among older adults. Spread avocado on whole grain toast. Add it to scrambled eggs or blend it into a smoothie. Your heart and brain will thank you. Walnuts. These brain-shaped nuts are one of the most powerful foods for vascular health. They're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, which helps reduce inflammation, support healthy cholesterol levels, and improve blood flow. They also contain magnesium, a mineral crucial for keeping blood vessels relaxed and blood pressure stable. According to a 2019 study in Nutrients, regular walnut consumption improves endothelial function. That's the inner lining of your arteries, and reduces overall stroke risk. Just a handful of walnuts in the morning mixed into oatmeal, crushed onto fruit, or eaten alone can provide a major protective boost. Strokes don't just happen. They build up silently from the choices we make every day, especially the ones we repeat. And for seniors, breakfast is where prevention begins. You don't need to fear food, but you do need to know your food, avoiding just a few of the items we mentioned today. Those sneaky cereals, the sugar-filled yogurts, that daily glass of juice can dramatically lower your stroke risk. And replacing them with powerful options like blueberries, avocados, and walnuts. That's where the healing begins. It's not about being perfect. It's about being informed. It's about choosing foods that protect your brain, support your independence, and give you the energy to live the life you love at every age. So now it's your turn. Which of these foods surprised you the most? Have you already started making changes to your breakfast routine? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from our Senior Fit community. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing health tips right here every week. Stay safe, stay strong, and start tomorrow with a breakfast your brain will thank you for.